Well, hello. How are we all doing tonight? Good? Great? Very decent? It's nice to see you all. It's Memorial Day. So I see we got a bunch of fine humans here. Elagabalus, Toxic Manflu, Eric J.R., Maldonado Herrera. Good to see all you human beings. Hope you all small time. Hail to you. All right, guys. Well, the show must go on, even on Memorial Day. We're going to yell at park cars a lot. A lot of us had the day off. For those who worked, well, thank you for doing that. But let's get to the world of crazy shit, because tonight we got some really wild shit to talk about. So, Pat S., hail to you. Primarch Vulcan, hail to you. The Islington Girl, J-Fo, hello. We got some very fine guests here tonight. One of them, he is a man of many voices. He even has aliases as well. Some may call him Frank Lee, but to me, he will always be the one, the only, ladies and gentlemen, Sir Talks a Lot. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir or madam. I've been trying to reach you about the extended warranty on your vehicle.
Oh, no. What are you doing here? Get out. Get out.
Do you like my cock Cadillac? I've been gone for a while, so I thought I'd come back with something big.
You did. Oh, you came back, big boy. You got big old chicken and backyard. It's so nice to see you on here. I'm just saying, I'm glad to have you on here.
Now that my power's working again, it's fantastic.
Oh, dude, how long did that last?
The first time, 24 hours. The second time, 12. And the third time, only about 6.
Jesus. Okay. We got our fine human beings waiting for me, so we're going to get them in. Ladies and gentlemen, he's easily the most known of the four of us here. He has a giant casino where he gets very rich, and he embraces culture like no other. And he's got a 6-minute daily that you should always watch. In case you aren't, you're wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, the Culture Casino! Cheers!
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. Yes, we've got quite a bit of yelling to do, I believe. A lot of cars that need our attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I would start out here, in front of my traditional wine glass with a glass of wine and begin. But, I have a feeling that I will be sitting in a cafe with cars running behind me very soon. So it's good to see everybody. Let's get going. We got stuff to talk about.
Yeah. What are you drinking tonight?
Oh, this is a Pinot. This is a Pinot Noir. It's it's called Ropatel. It's very good. One of the best ones. I usually have a couple bottles at least in reserve of that, and it's very good. It's very good. It's got a nice finish. Wow, Sir Toxalot's got changing cars behind it.
Yeah, right. How about them apples?
All right.
All right.
Well, I think we have another party waiting for us.
Yes, we have another guy. He is our guest tonight. He hails from a specific decade. We robbed him from the past, but now he's here in 2021 into the future with us. Ladies and gentlemen, he is that 70s rock fan.
Hail, sir. I am indeed a relic of the past, an ancient relic, a fossil, if you will. Well, good evening to you all. And I have to say, Sir Talks a Lot, I haven't seen such a big cock as that for a long time.
I aim to please, baby.
Yes, well, you're doing a wonderful job. Wonderful job.
As I usually do.
Goodness gracious me.
Oh, this is going to be a spicy panel tonight.
Well, I hope you gentlemen all had a great Memorial Day. So.
Oh, yes. How was yours, 70s?
Not bad. Obviously, living up in Canada, we don't do Memorial Day. We do Remembrance Day in November. November 11th. So we have a different schedule, but we're all very aware. Well, those of us who care about veterans and so on are very aware of Memorial Day. So I think it's a great thing to remember. So I salute all the veterans, all the fallen, all those who have allowed us to come here today and speak freely as YouTube will allow us to. Yeah. So thank you to them.
Yeah, right. as freely as YouTube allows. Yeah.
Yes.
It's important to remember these people when we live in these modern times because they fought to get us here, and now we need to keep their memories alive by keeping the fight alive and trying to keep America America.
Yeah, and remember where we came from, so history does not get erased because there is a certain amount of human beings that are trying to do that. So I think I would allow that, and we'll not.
I would widen it out. Sir talks a lot and say yes to keep America America, but also to keep civilization free around the world wherever it may have a tenuous hold today.
Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah, and of course America is a key component to that. But anyway.
Oh, J4 of the Dix Division. Thanks for subscribing. Dix Division, assemble. I'm glad to see so many dicks here in the chat. This is awesome. I love having our dicks here.
I was trying to start a rival splinter organization, Cox Corps, but I wasn't getting. I wasn't getting any traction. So, but Sir Talks a lot is supporting me. I can see with his large Cox.
Well, I do what I can.
It's long too. Look how long it spreads out, like near from side to side.
Well, as Rob Altis said, it's the coq de ville.
There you go. There you go.
All right, gents. Well, you know what? I get small time. He brings up a good point. Yeah, don't take it for granted. That's the thing. A lot of us do. It's very easy to forget, even when we have our, I guess you could say, our not so good days. It's easy to forget little things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I transcribed my great grandfather's diary from World War I into electronic format for posterity. It was quite an experience indeed, Islington girl. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that. Anyways, guys, we're gonna get to yelling. We could talk all day, but we're gonna get to the point here. So, just when 2021 couldn't get any weirder, any crazier, any yada yada,
we're just getting started.
Yeah, as I've said to many people on mainstream before, 2020 was just the dress rehearsal. Now we're on prom night that lasts for 365 days. I hated prom night, so I'm not looking forward to this part of prom night. Anyways,
did you have a bad experience?
Oh yeah, the food sucked. That was a big problem.
Yes, that and the fact that you decided to take the little Taiwanese kid and you turned out it had a sausage instead.
What? Anyways, so this article came out a few days ago, and thankfully we had some wonderful sources reach it out. It's about male inmates being mixed into women's prisons, which you read that headline, that should just scream a bunch of red flags. So, Sir Talks a lot. You want to be the one that takes it away?
Sure.
All right, my man. It's all you.
Full screen.
Yes.
Man. Terrence, California?
Yeah.
All right. Crazy California laws occasionally go national. Take SB 132, which took effect in January. It allows transgender-identified male state prison inmates to transfer into women's prisons based on individual preference. No hormones, surgery, or time spent living as the opposite sex required. Sex offenders. Terry Thornton. Wow, that's really broke up. Terry Thornton of the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation says 264 male prisoners have declared a non-male identity and formally requested transfer to women's facilities.
Go on. I know it's really, since we had to hack this sumbitch from the New York Wall Street Journal. Sorry,
it's the fact that this is a thing that's bugging me the most. Oh my god!
Yeah, I know. I can't believe the fact that this is actually a discussion right now should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah. If Congress passes the Equality Act the House already has, incarcerated biological men who identify as female would be entitled to transfer into women's federal prisons and possibly also state prisons nationwide. How's that working in California? Not well, according to Amy Ichikawa, who was released in 2013 from the Central California Women's Facility in Chowchilla, where she served 5 years for assault and kidnapping. Miss Ichikawa is now forming a nonprofit to help currently incarcerated women. I visited her home in Torrance, and she put me in touch with 4 other current and former inmates. She contacted me after I appeared at a March Senate Judiciary Committee hearing to testify against the Equality Act. I told the lawmakers that although the vast majority of transgenders in America are peaceful, decent, and law-abiding, the overboard bill would be subject to abuse by opportunistic male felons.
Yep.
No shit.
Yeah,
No
right.
shit.
I see so much shit to come out of this. And of course, here's the thing though: is in California, people have lived this life in California. At least the ones who refuse to get out, they're at the point where I feel like they're desensitized now. They to them when something this wild happens, you and I and people across the chats, we see it's God, what are they doing? It feels like, I could be wrong because obviously I don't live in California, but it feels like people in California are just it's just another thing for us because we're so used to outrageous shit happening on the daily. So it's just for them, this is just the next thing.
Which isn't okay because,
no, it's not.
Once we morally disengage with something like this, then it becomes very easy for all of the other really bad shit to get in. And, we're talking chomos and all kinds of stuff just being allowed to do their thing because that's their preference.
Yeah, and there's a number of things spring to mind immediately here, which is first of all, is that the word overbroad is used there, the overbroad bill, and that's what this is. Like many other of these bills, it's completely sweeping and has no nuance to it whatsoever. So therefore, everyone in that's declared to be a certain category will be treated exactly the same, as opposed to looking at the individual circumstances and whether or not there is a genuine person that has a genuine desire to be transgender, as opposed to, as we were saying earlier, those who are opportunistic. So the overbroadness is always a hallmark of this kind of bill. Let's take an entire group and treat them as one thing without any regard to individuality or nuance or intent. And in fact, intent is very much ruled out as an intent is always hard to find. It's the hardest thing to determine intent. It's always left out of the considerations of these things. So overbroad is a problem straight away.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Well, anything that's broad that can be misinterpreted should not be law. You have to make laws simple, easy to understand. Anything that you try to codify should be something anyone could understand. And that's the gist of equality law. Having too many elements to it leaves it open to interpretation. So it's one of the reasons why, believe it or not, the Constitution of the United States is quite digestible. You can read it yourself. So are the first 10 amendments to the Constitution that were called the Bill of Rights. Amendment 1 through 10 are important to pay attention to. And, especially when you get to number 10. You guys need to focus on number 10. So 1, 2, and 10. 1, 2, and 10. Anyway. Beyond that, anyway, I tend to ramble on, so I'm sure.
No, we're listening. We're not bored at all.
we're not charging you by the word, so you're okay.
Yeah. We got some interesting comments here. Dexy Doodle here. I'm assuming that's New Zealand. They're already trans prison. My hubby is a corrections officer. Wow. Oh man. Hopefully that ain't going too wild for him. And this Islington girl had one. Oh, right here. Very notable. I just heard of a story here in Canada where rehab male sex offenders were putting women in an asylum and charged with their care. It was really, really bad. Not the same, but institutional. Yeah, that could get really nasty.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to the individual circumstances again. I mean, there are absolutely going to be transgender offenders who've had surgery or are undergoing the process changing who are not going to that institute. Guys that want to get closer to girls. Yeah, so that's absolutely reasonable. It's the broad brush approach, though, to say, well, how are they going to categorize who are these people that will get transferred? That's the key. What are the criteria? What is the waiting time? What is the evaluation period? Is it physical, psychological, and so on and so on? Because in principle, it's an okay idea if the right criteria are applied.
Yeah, except we got people who are not in the right criteria to enforce this stuff. So that alone, like,
sets off. Thing.
Yeah,
that's a different matter. Yes,
a can of worms. Yeah, the people. It's kind of like the whole issue with well, if you just fund more money, that solves the problem. Like, yeah, well, look at the people who are spending the money. Like, just saying throw more money at the problem doesn't solve the problem. You got to look at who spends the money and how they spend the money. But once again, you get the point. What I'm saying, I'm sure the rest of the panel in the chat does. But Sir Talkslot, Mr. Culture was very accommodating and got us a larger panel so you can read this better. Yes. So, yeah, shall we continue our story?
Okay, so none of the currently or formerly incarcerated women I spoke to expressed any animus towards transgender people. All acknowledged that some biological men who are transgender have been subject to abuse in men's prisons. Several of the women made a point of saying they'd have no problem sharing a cell with natural males who have undergone sex reassignment surgery. See, that's different. That's different than what they're allowing them to go in there by preference. Yep. Because if you're allowing it by preference, then it has nothing to do with reassignment. And then it becomes an issue of, if this is okay, then are they going to then make it state-paid reassignment surgeries in prison if they want this kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm. Actually, in California, yes.
I would imagine so.
I'm not actually that surprised by California doing that. I don't know why. But
it's probably the case in Canada too. I haven't checked. Islington girl might know. She's Canadian as well, but that's probably state funded.
Whoa, hello here. Crazy Cat Guy coming in hot. Crazy Cat Guy just tipped me some sweet money. Thank you for being excellent. And Crazy Cat Guy with $10. Greetings. Here's some cheddar. Thank you, Crazy Cat Guy. Always so generous you are. Thank you. Anyways, carry on. I had to read that.
Absolutely. But according to Tyrena Griffin, I'm sorry, who served 20 years at Chochilla for second-degree murder and whose wife, Rachel Johnson, is currently serving a life sentence there, many of the men who are transferring there aren't even on hormonal medication. They're getting a full erection, she said, so they're locked in this room 24/7 with a man, and there's nothing you can do about it. If you tell the police you don't want to live with a man, or you're afraid, or whatever, you'll get a disciplinary infraction. So you're basically punished for being scared.
I think we're getting to the nub of the problem now.
This is chilling. Not gonna lie,
this is the nub chilling. Of the problem. Yeah, right there. Something that on its surface could be seen as valid. This exposes the problem. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, pitch intent should be an indication that, maybe you're not as into. Yeah.
I think also that we just in the earlier paragraph, it touched on another tangential subject there, which is the amount of sexual abuse in prison, both in male and female prisons, but particularly I'm assuming we would all be thinking of male prisons and what goes on in there. So if levels of abuse are that high anyway, then that's a sign that abuse isn't just going to go away because you transfer someone from one gender-based institution to another gender-based institution. So sexual abuse is endemic, apparently, in the prison system. So they're not taking into account that is a well-known subject over the decades.
All right, we're going to need some laughs here after hearing and seeing all this. And luckily, we got the one and only Godzillionaire. Just tip me some sweet money. Godzillionaire, thank you for being excellent. And he comes at me hot with $10. $1 for every inch of Dix Division.
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
See, we needed a laugh. Thank you, Godzillionaire.
That's great.
And then Rob Altus comes in as well with $3. Preference can be fake. Getting rid of Dix Division is commitment. And then Terminus S. Oh my God, you guys are coming in. Sir talks a lot. You know what that car is? That's a chicken coop. Ooh. Well, thank you guys.
A chicken coop to
thank you guys.
Awesome, brother.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Nice. Thank you, fine humans. That is amazing.
I just wanted to point out something good that Dixie Doodle said there, which is that this conversation is all about male to female trans, and indeed I don't know what the wording of the bill is specifically, but it seems to be very focused on going in that direction. Is indeed there a move or anybody that's wanting to go in the other direction? So
don't bet on it.
That would be just thought it was an interesting comment.
Mm-hmm. I don't see a transgender female to male being like, yeah, throw me in gladiator camp, bro.
No,
exactly. Diego's comment
to the kidney.
Diego's comment tells you everything you know. Where he says, "I mean, there is the joke of don't drop the soap, but now that don't seem so funny now. Like we laughed about it in like movies and such, but now we're seeing this like, oh, okay, maybe that doesn't seem so funny now in this instant, and it isn't." But boy, anyways, we'll carry on. We'll march to the finish line, not literally, but yeah. Go on and read.
We're going to reach the climax, is what you're saying.
Oh boy!
For the Dix Division, we're always at a climax.
Because female inmates are typically far less violent than male ones, women's prisons like Chowchilla don't separate based on the severity of their crimes. We're all mixed together, Miss Ichikawa said. The people who have murdered are in the same room as the people who have stolen boxers from Walmart.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Also, unlike men's prisons, inmates should scroll back down just a little bit. Can't see that.
Your logo's in the road.
Just
Nick.
a wee bit more. Yeah. Oh, there you go. All right. Also, unlike men's prisons, inmates at Chowchilla are housed 8 to a room, with a sink and a toilet inside the cell and only a cowboy door for modesty. The California law specifically states that no inmate may be denied a housing request for any discriminatory reason, including genitalia or sexual orientation. According to some surveys, a majority of biological men who identify as trans women are sexually attracted to women. Yeah, okay.
That's an interesting statement.
Yeah.
Wow.
How are you going to prevent these people from having sex? Miss Ichikawa said. And how do you then decipher what's sex and what's rape? The women told me the study confirms that the vast majority of incarcerated women are sexual assault survivors. I'm not surprised by this.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
meanwhile, Snow is white.
I'm hoping that, like, it's, if one guy is going to get all uppity with these women, that the other 7 women, there's 7 other women in there and they all got their protection, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me a break. This is so bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good. It's not good. And you know this is going to create a lot of like prison babies, right?
Yeah. That God. Oh, we have covered some wild articles before, but I feel like that we may have done some Macho Man cream of the crop type of stuff with this one right here. Like,
Step into a Slim Jim.
Straight to the cream of the crop.
There you go.
Anyways,
it is the proverbial can of worms because it touches on so many other subjects about prison abuse. Yeah. How do you define sexual assault? How do you know what's going on in a prison cell? Who doesn't talk and who does talk? It's touched on a whole load of these things.
We appreciate you, Dexy. We appreciate it. We need a strong guard there on the vag guard. So thank you. Anyways, we got a whole
like the Valkyrie of the Dix Division there.
Yeah, right. We got a whole bunch of people give me the tip of their tips. So we're gonna read them off real quick here. Toxic Man Flu with a 20. Nick Weiser flavor number 2. Nick's prison soap drop soup.
Oh my.
Oh my God. Anyways, Terminus Swood, $2. So 70s rock fan is a Scotsman living in Canada. That means if he lives in Quebec, he'd be a OUI lad. I don't know what that means, but maybe you do.
A wee lad.
It's a wee lad.
While we mentioned Quebec, I'd like to say well done the Montreal Canadiens for putting Toronto out of the Stanley Cup. Go Habs. Sorry.
And then no, you're good. And then Ella Gablis comes in hot with $5. I may be dumb, but I'm not a dweeb. I'm just an inmate with low testosterone. Hail, Nick Weiser. My alarm goes to you. Oh my God, you guys are killing it, guys. Thank you. Anyways, our proud narrator, Sir Talks of the Lots. Talk. No.
In Washington State, which has a similar law, one male inmate who transferred into a women's prison was a serial killer of women. They might as well go ahead and start dropping the women off at San Quentin or Pelican Bay or one of the hardcore men's prisons, Miss Griffin said. She added that women inside the prison are looking for ways to arm themselves. Shocker. They made it more into a more of a war zone to me, because I know women who are like, I refuse to live with a man, and if I have to make me a prison knife to defend myself, then I'm gonna do that. I mean, you know how strong men are. Imagine one woman trying to defend herself against a big old man, and the men coming in are like 6'5", 6'6", 300 pounds. These men look like Hercules compared to these little women. Can you fault the women for actually trying to defend herself? No, I won't.
No, I'm going to stop her right there because she's obviously never seen a Marvel movie. Because a 100-pound girl can throw a 300-pound guy across the room, no problem.
Yeah. You have to remember they're very accommodating stuntmen in prison.
Yes.
Oh man,
indeed. According to the women I spoke to, the female guards at Chowchilla are as upset as the inmates by the law, recognizing that men are far more violent. The Corrections Department confirmed that unlike some men's prisons, Chowchilla, California's highest security women's prison, doesn't have a gun coverage, meaning officers overseeing the general population are armed with only batons and pepper spray. They could get a gun, but they would have to go all the way to the front, Miss Johnson said. That would really be extremely too late if something was really happened.
You know what? I got to stop right there, Talks. I just realized, you know what? So have they talked to, they're always saying how we got to look for the diverse groups and their opinions and their thoughts. What about the lesbians who legitimately hate men? What are their thoughts on this? If they hate men so much, I don't see them wanting to accommodate to this. I don't see that. Do you guys see that?
They're not getting a chance to accommodate them.
Because this feels like this contradicts them and their opinions. Because, like I said, there are a lot of lesbians that legitimately hate men, and whatever, that's their opinion. But it's just we're not listening to their voices; we're ignoring them. by doing this.
One might say that, in common with many other things today, that the women's point of view is being degraded and ignored, perhaps, in this, like it is in many other conversations of similar types of legislation and so on. So,
Okay.
But,
go ahead.
You could say that.
Yeah, we could. Yeah. Cheers to you, Stone Cold Jeremy. Carry on. Talks a lot.
Oh my God.
I think you're at the California law.
Yeah. Warren talks a lot out already. Sorry.
No, this hits me on a lot of different levels, and I am trying not to go absolutely just lose my shit right now. The California law also directs cavity searches to be conducted based on the individual's search preference, meaning if a biological male identifies as a transgender would prefer to be cavity searched by a female officer, he is entitled to it. It is also another opportunity to violate women. Every woman in the facility, Miss Ichikawa said. I don't know why it was written so callously. I feel like there's so much hate for women. I would agree with that. This comes across as completely misogynistic.
I swear I did not look at the sentences before I said my statement. Respond to you, Tux. I swear I did not look at these sentences after. Because I literally said they're ignoring the voices of the women with this. They're at the same time, they simultaneously say we need to hear their voices, and yet they contradict themselves once again.
Well, indeed, one could almost assume that they have a desire to reduce the rights of women, broadly speaking. But one could say that.
These next couple lines.
Anyway, they've clearly never seen Orange is the New Black, because most of the female guards in that they're pretty butch. They could take care of themselves.
Well, we're just gonna pretend that they just got this and it's okay and it's all good. But before we carry on, we got more people giving me the tip of their tips again, and coming in hot. The Isling girl with $2 to the Honorable Vag Guard of Dix Division. Thank you, thank you very much. And Dexy Doodle with the $3.59. No message, but thank you for the $3.59. And then Terminus S. Man, he's just loving to give me his flavors today. Nick Weiser flavor number 3. Bubba's Brothy Bunghole Brewski. Oh my God, that is downright nasty. And Bryce Day, I see your comment. I'm not going to highlight it, but we're getting closer to that point. We are definitely getting closer to that point. I see what you're saying.
Comment, yeah.
It's coming. It's kind of like the whole what they said last year about, we'll say the W Han thing, where it was dismissed last year. Now it's like, oh hey, there could be a possibility. So, anyways, I guess we'll close out this article. We'll do our closing thoughts on this, and then we'll move on to the next one. So, finish it off. Talks a lot.
Miss Thornton, the Corrections Department spokeswoman, stressed that the department evaluates transfer applications on a case-by-case basis. It has approved 26 of them. We haven't denied any requests so far. She also confirmed that although there are many female prisoners in California's women's prisons who identify as men, only 7 have requested transfer to men's prison. Why so few? I asked Miss Ichigawa, who answered, they would get killed.
You think?
Prime targets.
Oh my God.
And I like the case-by-case evaluation mentioned above. Okay, so is that a public evaluation? Is that completely private? Do we know the criteria? Why has nobody been rejected out of 26?
I would like to know the direct names of the ones who are literally trying to fight tooth and nail to make this bill happen. And then I want to know the names of the people who are, I guess, supposed to be the not so opposers. Because I feel like the people who claim to oppose this bill, they do the bare minimum where they're like, oh no, please don't do this. But then they just kind of like, okay, never mind, go ahead and go. Do not pass go.
Yeah, the fight against it is
hardly a
perfunctory.
The bigger reach of this is the fact that they're doing the Equality Act, which will make this federally standard, and therefore it would be easier for any state to do this. And that should tell you everything you need to know about the current administration's level of give a shit about women. Honestly.
So, yeah, exactly.
Especially in the prison system, because they don't value anyone that isn't a salvageable tax-paying member, honestly. Nope. So the more that things degrade in there, the better they feel, I guess. I don't know. But it's...
This provides, in some ways, preferential treatment for a very small group of people who self-declare to be something else. So it doesn't sound like much, again, like all of these things, it doesn't sound much like equality, because they're getting more of a say than the biological women in the women's jails already. So that's not equality.
No, that's not.
It's just another chipping away at that block of women's hard-won women's rights over the decades. In the intersectional Olympics, as somebody else said in the chat. Who's the highest?
This is one of the reasons they need to clearly differentiate what a transgender is and what an individual who has a gender dysphoric disorder is, because these individuals that can identify like that, they're not transgender individuals. Transgender individuals are individuals that go through the process of changing genders. This does not include these individuals that go, oh yeah, I'm a girl. Ignore the bear.
we can't leave it to people who are just using it to be enough as a state of mind, because when we're doing that, we're playing with fire. We're playing look at, I mean, you know about Zuby. You know who Zuby is, Talks?
Yeah, Zuby.
You saw, you know what, I'm sure you know very well what he did when he just literally went to go compete in the whole female, the deadlift, and all of a sudden he literally stops after he wins and then say, oh, I'm a man. I'm like, so does that mean that this didn't happen? I mean, he played a good test. What he did, obviously, he was out to prove a point, and he succeeded. And yet, here we are now, even worse than this. It's like every time you think you get to the bottom of the barrel, we scrape off another slab, and we're like, okay, well, let's just go even more deeper.
They also need to recognize that, they talk about taking power away from men all the time, but by allowing these men to do this, they are giving them more power than they ever had before, because now they have the freedom to do it within the prison system practically unchecked. So it gives them more incentive to stay in prison and continue identifying and abusing other people's rights for their own personal gain and their own personal feeling of power.
Yeah, that's right. It's not equality in any true meaning of that word. It's providing a small group of people with a lot of privilege, and certainly people that will probably be very difficult to charge if they do happen to commit crimes, assault crimes within that system. So, because they can hold the card up of victimization themselves. So, but I'm just curious to know
that it's malingered victimization most of the time.
But it mentions at the end about the debate about transgender athletes. So apparently the Olympics are going ahead in Japan soon.
Yep.
Extremely, not that I'm interested in the Olympics anymore, but those days have long gone, given the politicization of sport in general. But I'll be very, very interested to see just how many men compete in the women's events.
They've already got one confirmed.
Yeah,
they're celebrating him/her as the first transgender to compete in the Olympics.
I'm glad you mentioned those exact words, Talks, because I'm going to read some tips, and that's going to transition into the perfect next topic. So,
did you just say transition?
He
did. He's on top of his game tonight. He slid that one right in there. He slid it right in there. Slipped it in.
Anyways, we got more people leaving me the tip of their tips. Thank you, by the way. And these fine human bears, Eric Winberg with $2. Eric's first flavor of the day, Firestone 805. And Jaffo with a $3 with autogynephilia is a form of sexual response in biological males characterized by a sexual arousal over the idea of being or becoming female. Imagine how taxpayers will respond when it comes out their taxes-funded surgeries for a sexual kink. Oh, boy. And then Elagabalus. Dude, Elagabalus, you are dude, I come to Vegas, man, so I can just return the favor. I owe you everything. El Gabos with another $5. On a side note, please take a few moments to describe the imagery on your baby blue bowling shirt. I'll zoom in. I don't know if you want me to zoom in, but let me do this. So this here, this is the Macho Man. Oh, that's the Macho Man, dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So you've got the
hey,
Macho
that was
Man.
perfect timing.
You've got a Macho Man on your chest, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I got them, dude. Me and my girlfriend we're big fans of Mr. Randy Savage, and oh boy, the toxic one himself. What did he do now? What did he do now before we transition? With a $10, Dix Division and Vanguard do their morning exercises at the Y.
You took the tip right off there.
Wow. Oh my!
I know we're going to try and see that. It's the last $20. The last $20 that really make the difference.
Yeah, y'all are dirty. You got dirty minds.
Yeah.
So,
anyway,
I have a final comment perhaps to make on that article, which is
go ahead.
Why don't they just go the whole way and say there is no such thing as a male or female, because they don't believe there are male and female genders anyway. Why don't they just go the whole way and say prisons are for everybody?
Because if they did that, then they couldn't use arguments about women's rights. They couldn't use arguments about strong female. Yeah. Guys, hail to our overlord.
The boss is here.
The man himself.
Your best behavior.
Yeah, we're being good. Our dicks are in line.
Nick's almost wearing a shirt, guys. Almost.
He is.
Almost.
I wonder where he borrowed that wig here, chest wig. Chest hair wig there.
It's groovy, baby.
Isn't that called a merkin? Or is that
Darnbush?
There's a bunch of furries have just joined the chat because they've seen that.
That's right.
It's just I put on the Savage shirt this morning, and the Dix Division sound off. Yes, hail to Comix Division. You are absolutely missed on yelling at Thursday Night Throwdown, and between Drew and VW, and of course Talks and Culture, and me attempting, we're doing our best here to, keep it real here. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to make sure we hold the fort down for you. So
I'm not doing my best. I'm not putting any effort in at all.
Yeah, he's just hanging out.
I'm trying to get a smile out of Culture, but he's very serious tonight.
I'm smiling.
Why so serious?
Oh, you guys are killing me. Okay, now we can be trans and do this. So anyways,
we can trans in his position.
Well, when you're mentioning the whole she, her, they, them thing, you had the perfect thing in line for that. So here we go, Talks. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a real headline. This is not Babylon B.
We thought the last one was bad. This is.
I can't wait to read this.
Kellogg's sexualizes cereal boxes. How they are indoctrinating children before breakfast by Christine Favaci. I didn't even know about this till today, or Favoci. Anyways,
I was today years old when I found out about this just now.
Anyways, go ahead and take it away, Talks.
Growing up in the 1980s, eating a big bowl of my favorite Kellogg's breakfast cereal. I was a Fruit Loops gal, I bet you were, while watching Saturday morning cartoons was the epitome of childhood existence. Sure, the food giants' quirky mascots like Toucan Sam and Tony the Tiger encouraged us to consume mass quantities of high-fructose corn syrup that contributed to our adulthood, insulin resistance, and tooth decay, but that's nothing compared to the moral rot and perversion they're selling to a new generation. Wow, that was like She really doesn't like cereal anymore.
Yeah,
guys.
this all sounds like it's kind of resentful. Like you're like, bro, I love cereal, man. Why you gotta lead with this? Why do you gotta lead with this for your conversation starting off with this article? Like, really, bro? Really? Bro. Anyways, go on.
Bro.
Kellogg has sexualized its cereal box with the release of a Together with Pride product that promotes acceptance of the homosexual lifestyle and encourages children to pick their pronouns, all with the help of those same lovable characters who used to mostly hawk artificially flavored corn products.
You know, here's my rule when I was a kid, okay? And it's still my rule to this day as an adult, because many of you who've watched me on Yelling at Park Cars, specifically for that stream, I love to eat my Waffle Crisp cereal on the stream. And back then to now, how I knew a cereal was probably going to be good, if I looked at the back of the box and there's some sweet-ass games on the back. If there was not that cool-ass activity that I couldn't do to occupy myself as I'm using my spoon, eating cereal. Because usually when there's like the cereal that doesn't have like it's just like a plain thing, it's usually for me like a red flag that this cereal probably sucks. Because I like my Blueberry Pancake Crunch. I love my Waffle Crisp. And now here I got this human being I got to deal with. This Christine Favashi trying to talk about, oh, it's artificially flavored, guy. Like, I don't care. Give me my sugar, bitch. All right? You probably need to lay off the sugar yourself. But anyways, Sir
you don't care at all about the sexualization bit, just the sugar.
That's problematic too. Great. I just became my own enemy saying the word problematic. But no, this is I guess we'll just say it's a legitimate problem. Legitimate. And hey, culture.
She's making the case that diabetes affects all sexualities. So, there's an equality message there.
All right, culture's got an even better version. Thank you for giving me bigger versions.
I like to give everybody, bigger things.
Culture Casino always makes it bigger.
Yeah, Culture Casino always makes it bigger.
Go big or go home, or go Culture Casino and go both.
There you go. I knew it was going to come down to wings. I was just waiting for the wings.
Waiting in the wings. You're waiting in the wings, Reed.
I'm waiting in the wings. I'm not waiting in the wings.
Waiting in the wings. Waiting in the wings. Anyways.
You're the wing that I want.
But not the wing.
The wing that I want. There you go. Wing. Oh, you guys.
Sir talks a lot. We've interrupted you.
No, I love listening to you guys talk about dicks. It's great.
Wait till we stop talking about them.
Oh, it's because
I don't know if I want to be around for that one.
I don't think it's going to be that kind of stream, that 70s rock fan. We're not doing that tonight. Not that kind of party.
Not you. Point that bloody finger at me.
Our illustrious leader has spoken.
Every you can wang and chung somewhere else, bro. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep. That's all this.
Oh, God, small time.
Wangsworth. Excellent.
Potty time. Dicks and wings. Whatever wings. Oh, my.
And I take wang.
Well, if you get knighted here, there might be something that's tapping on your shoulder that somebody that worked for the BBC got in trouble for doing. So, yeah.
Anyways, let's try to read this article.
Jesus, guys. Oh, this is great.
I dubbed me Lady Penis Breath. Oh, wait, sorry. I apologize.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oops.
Wang, right.
Okay, we're completely derailed now. The other day, Vigilante Williamson said the funniest thing I think I've heard in a long time. I think he was talking about Amber Heard, and he said she's got 1,000 cock stare instead of 1,000 yard stare. Yeah, he said the 1,000 cock stare. Just about died at that one.
She's been in Hollywood since she was a little girl, so that doesn't surprise me.
Oh, that alone is a terrible joke.
So Vigilante was a little girl So I didn't know that. No, so. Anyway, what were we talking about?
We're taking the long wing home. Anyway, I know there's a story here. I'm waiting. I'll be waiting in the wings.
Okay. All right. I gotta stop. I gotta stop looking at the dicks in the chat and start looking at the screen. I know there's a face on the screen, so I gotta stop looking down, guys. Look up.
Oh, the
we
thousand
do have faces. We do have faces here, so stop looking down. Anyways, carry on. Oh my god! Why you just had to?
It's
chunk. Your head's about to get trapped in between.
We're talking about cereal, so and this person's complaining about health issues. So I figured
this chick's a serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was very corny.
You got the LinkedIn girl.
Oh my god!
You guys are killing me with your wangs.
We'll never get this back now. Wang Shank. Toxic. Wang Shank.
I'm crying. I can't stop crying.
Small time, and I can't find my wing home.
Oh man, you guys, that was. Anyways, let's try to read this article.
Yes. Somebody's trying to use a battle wing in the chat. I think David Serto made a battle wing.
No. Limited edition together with Pride cereal hits shelves across the country today, Kellogg announced in a news release Thursday, marking the latest collaboration between the Kellogg Company and Glad.
Doesn't that sound like a trash bag company?
Yeah.
It does.
It
Glad.
does.
Big black trash bags. Sing if you're glad to be gay. Sing if you're happy that way.
They make really good leaf bags.
They do.
Like reusable shopping bags?
No. When you're raking up the leaves in your yard, right?
Yes.
They're very durable.
Or other kind of leaves that you may need to store.
Well, there you go.
If you got the supply, why not?
There you go.
The cereal, which features berry-flavored rainbow hearts dusted with edible glitter, was previously only available online, but will now be sold in select stores nationwide. Kellogg's new Together with Pride cereal will create opportunities for homes and families to have conversations about the importance of acceptance, compassion, understanding, especially when it comes to LGBTQ plus youth. Glad President and CEO said.
This is just an indoctrination tactic. This is to you got to get in their brains early with this stuff. You can teach all of those things without having to write fuck you on the side of a fucking cereal box, because that's what I'm going to do anytime I walk into a freaking grocery store that has this. I'm going to have my little Sharpie, and the pronouns are going to be filled in for everybody. Fuck and you will be on every box. And I've said that multiple times on different streams, and I friggin' believe it, because this is stupid. And if you can't see what this is, this is more divisive nature. We are all humans. We have to accept each other as human beings. The rest of this shit does not matter. And
we should be talking about flying cars right now, but no, we're still talking about this.
No, we should be talking about colonizing motherfucking Mars. That's what we should be talking about. We should,
that's better. Preferable.
We should be reaching for the stars and not digging through the dung heap of the frickin' stuff that was well behind us 50 years ago. I am tired of it.
I think the people that are into this, though, are the same people who would suggest that we shouldn't go to Mars because we'll just spoil it. That's exactly the same people. Mankind will just ruin that beautiful, pristine Well, there's nothing there. It's dead. Well, we assume, but but there's the same people. It's the same people.
Yeah. Well, they lack intellectual honesty. What are we really trying to do? It's not this.
Yeah. It's indoctrination to create a pipeline for them, for the adults who are into this kind of thing.
We have some really weird stuff, right? And we should be trying to fight against it. California is the league leader in normalizing some things that are incredibly unsavory, right? And unfortunately, some of this stuff gets there. Now, I'm not saying anything against people who are LGBTQ plus, because again, I have people that are in my life, family and friends, who represent every one of those things.
Yeah.
So, when this kind of stuff is introduced and it's done in this way, believe me, that's nothing that the people that I know fought for. Okay. And now we're dealing with an entirely different thing than they're being honest about. And I'm tired of that. And I know that Sir Toxlot can talk about it a lot better than I can, but anyway, it is what
the whole pronoun thing. The whole pronoun thing is completely bogus, because for people in the LGBT community that I've known for many years, they don't believe in it. These are guys that are gay guys, and they say, "I'm a he. I don't want to be something fluid. I'm a man. I like other men, but I'm a man." So they don't care about that. Where is this coming from?
Gay men who love masculine men.
Yeah, where is it coming from?
Media want to tell you there are plenty of gay men who love strong men.
Yeah, they don't want to be called they. They don't care about that. It's their he. They like other men. They like men, masculine men. So.
Yeah. And if you go to a wedding between two men, they're men.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
They're right here mixing in, and people in our audience could be gay. And the thing is, you know what? They're probably also getting, a chuckle out of all the Wang jokes, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's the problem with the way people approach things, right? I mean, and some of it doesn't matter. I'm not even going to go into this anymore.
You could see it. You could see it then as another attack on masculinity. Regardless of the sexual orientation of the person, they're trying to make everyone less masculine.
Well, one of the things that
they've been doing that for a long time.
That they're ignoring a lot is how divisive this is within the LGBT community, because they're discounting what it means to actually be lesbian, gay, bisexual, or trans, because lesbian, gay, and bisexual are sexualities. Being transsexual doesn't mean that you like to bounce around between the sexualities and just fuck whoever you want. It means that you're transgender and that you don't feel like a man in a man's body. You would rather be a woman. And there's a lot of steps that go into making that a healthy transitional process. But what they're doing is they're discounting and diminishing what it actually means to the actual community to be lesbian, gay, and bisexual, even just standing alone on those three things. Because for them, it has been a struggle for them, because a lot of them are raised in traditional houses, and a lot of them are already told that being gay is wrong, which is fucking retarded.
Which is
dumb, right? I'm supposed to say that. I'm sorry. Anyway, but when it gets down to it, then you start shoving Kellogg's, be gay cereal in your face. Your kids will just grow up more confused about it, because they don't, they're like, oh, well, say they're in a traditional household where they have a mommy and a daddy, and now Kellogg's is telling them that they're supposed to have a daddy and a daddy, or a mommy and a mommy, or something like that. Or you can be a he, she, or a she, or a they, them, or a Princess Leia, or whatever the hell you want, because it's up to your personal preference on everything. And it's destroying way more than what people really want to do.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, it's destroying language, right? Of course, they're doing that at various levels right now. But, pronouns actually mean things. They're required to interact. And changing the meanings of words and complicating words, that creating word salad is the whole point of these people. And I know a lot of people haven't caught on yet. And you know what? And that's why we're here, to try to slowly, have these conversations in as uncomfortable a way as possible. And and hopefully people catch on. But it's just it's this kind of thing makes it just irritates me because it sets so much stuff back. This is another reset, right? I mean, and I mean,
segregation as well.
It's societal regression in every way that it can be.
There's an equation here which says that gay men and women who are very sure of their own gender and sexuality are somehow to be equated with a number of people who have gender dysphoria or perhaps have other motivations for claiming that they are neither one or the other. And I don't think that sits very well with me.
And it doesn't sit very well with my people that I know that are members of this community, whether they be friends or family members. That's not where they're at, right? And it's one of those weird things, and it's irritating, it's frustrating. I can accept every other human on the planet, right? Unless you're trying to cause me physical harm, chances are, if you guys know me at all, I love you, right? I mean, that's my default position from the moment I meet somebody, right? You have to change my mind, okay? And that's a function of being raised the way that I was. Right?
Raised the right way.
But I guarantee you, if I like you, I'm going to bust your chops. You're going to know it. But I want to say this, speaking to what that 70s fan just said, all you have to do is look at somebody as outspoken and in front of people as Ariel Scarcella, who Tim Pool has featured multiple times on his show, who, was a lesbian who only likes women, right? She wasn't willing to date a transgender person because that wasn't her jam, and she was called all kinds of
vilified
for that, including I think TERF, right? And so these are some, and believe me, these people will slur the hell out of you, unless you agree with them, right? And that's perfectly acceptable to the extremist alt leftists, right? Because a traditional or a classical liberal is going, I don't really agree with you, right? And so they're like with us when it comes to this stuff, because there's no way somebody who believes in that kind of freedom wants these other things happening. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw my 2 cents in there, because there is an example of a person who was vilified for saying, I'm not interested in dudes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's how the whole...
that's how they want that to happen. Yeah, they want that type of outrage to happen. That's what they are trying to incite.
And that reaction said a lot about the people who were vilifying her. Yeah. About their agenda. It said an awful lot about them.
All right. I'm going to read this one real quick. Godzillionaire, say what you want about Steven Crowder, but his stance of I don't care about pronouns, I refer to a person by name. I love when I can call someone by their name, or in YouTube world, their YouTube name. I love addressing it. It lets me know, hey, look, I know who you are. This is your name. I'm going to address you by your name. So I'm with that position. But and also, we got another $2 from Small Time. Don't snap, crackle, or pop your way anytime. You guys know how to give me the laughs. Thank you, Small Time. That was absolutely phenomenal. I like your guys' tips. Thank you. Anyways, let's read this article and be serious.
Kellogg is not only building on an ongoing commitment to support the LGBTQ+ community, but initiatives that spotlight the importance of using correct pronouns to create safe and welcoming spaces for trans and non-binary people. There's a safe space again.
So when I see comments like this, is like, what? Are we pretending like people like this never had cereal in their lives for like the last 30, 40, 50, 60 years, as long as cereal's been around, probably much longer. But I'm just, as long as there's been a gay man, lesbian woman, transgender, what? Did they look at this box like, this doesn't say pronouns, I'm not going to eat it, toss it out in the garbage? Like, no, what?
This seems to be a seasonal thing for them. Like, they do it from time to time. They're only putting it in select markets, obviously, where they know it'll actually sell. So very dense urban areas.
I suspect they're not doing it in China or in African or Middle Eastern countries.
No,
of course not. No. See, and that's the thing. These companies know that this is pure pander, right? This is total garbage. Even the freaking people at GLAAD are probably like, this is pure pander. It's to me, it's disgusting, right? Because I don't want to be pandered to in this way. I can't imagine anybody else would want to be. So looking at this, it's like, it's really easy to not buy your product, Kellogg's. I mean, I'm at that point with I'm at that point right now with everything. General Mills, Kellogg. If this is these are the paths you want to take, guess what? Gillette. Guess what? P&G. Yep. P&G, you're not the only game out there. So that's what it is. Yeah, they're doing it because it's Pride Month. Yeah.
But I agree with you, Culture. My wallet, I speak with my wallet. I don't buy Kellogg's. I don't buy Gillette. Stop buying Coke. I don't buy any of these.
Yeah,
there are alternatives. General Mills. General Mills is better anyways. And a lot better.
Disney did the same thing. Coca-Cola got busted for this ridiculous program based in, essentially, complete indoctrination and full-on racism, right? And the same thing happened at Disney. And people are stepping back from these companies. They're and calling them on the carpet. And the problem is that you have all these CEOs going, okay, we want to do this, but we're effing up. And again, it's part of the bigger thing that we don't talk about here very much. Which is the WEF. And again, this probably isn't the show to talk about that. And someday we will probably end up doing a complete show on what's happening there.
Maybe probably on Odyssey.
Yeah, we can probably do it on Odyssey.
Yeah, we can do it
on Odyssey.
Yeah. Starting tomorrow, I mean, hopefully I'll be able to have time to do my news segment over there. Where I actually get to cover legitimate stuff, and I will follow right into some of these things which I can't do on YouTube, right? I mean, my stuff is fully based in the business side of pop culture and entertainment and news and stuff like that, and that's great and all. But I have more diverse interests than that, obviously. So, but it's this kind of stuff that we struggle to talk about because there are certain things we can't say when we're here, and that's infuriating. That's infuriating. But I will say this. This is a little gut turning to me as well because of how this is couched. This person obviously has a heavy religious bias.
It looks like it. Yeah.
And so I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not holding this person up, as a pillar of anything. But this allows us to talk about something that's, a story, in my opinion. So there you go.
Yeah, and I would just, the stuff below the top paragraph that's in the apostrophes right now, that's the words of Kellogg and GLAAD. So the stuff below is the words of the person writing it. And it's certainly tailored, but from a certain point of view. But the paragraph that's in the apostrophes, to me, is the key because it's trying to equate these trans and binary fluid people, or whatever they call themselves, with gay and lesbian people. And I think that's two different things entirely. And they're trying like they always do to equate the two together.
They have to.
Yeah, collectivist.
This is okay. So all you have to do is step back in time and find it, because the originator of this name was Dick Morris. I know it's Dix Division Wayne. Go ahead, get your jokes out. But Dick Morris, who worked on the Clinton campaign, he cobbled together all of these fractionalized groups, right, and started to assemble them. And so from that point forward, in order to build a coalition of people that felt like they were getting some form of representation, at a governmental level. Now they do it on everything. That's why they grab all the little letters, right? The alphabet communities, all these people, instead of the actual community itself, you're now thrown together with people you may not agree with at all. You have one thing in common, which is you think you're marginalized. Well, in the United States, you are the least marginalized people anywhere in the world. And it doesn't, and I can say that you are a 100% human being in the United States. It doesn't matter what your color is. It doesn't matter what you identify as. If you want to be a dump truck, good luck. I don't care what you identify as. I don't care what the color. Nobody does. That's the beauty of the United States. The complete liberty and freedom to be yourself. And a lot of people say, well, I'm limited in the opportunity by my economics. No, you're really not. There are representations of people who have done the hard work to get out there. Do you start in a disadvantageous position? Certainly. But can you overcome those things? Yes. And it's been done hundreds of thousands of times.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
maybe even millions.
The correct amount of work. If you put the work in, you achieve success.
If you want to be a professional baseball pitcher and you have some affinity towards being able to throw a baseball, there's a book for you. It's called 10,000. You want to do that over 10,000 times. That's what you want to practice. You want to be really good at a fastball, throw it 10,000 times. You want to be able to throw a curveball, throw it 10,000 times. You want you gain abilities by attempting everything that you do. Believe me, if you go back and watch my first video, which I think I unlisted, I was silly. I didn't know how to do this. Nobody does. You start out talking to a camera with a microphone, right?
Yeah.
And it's you get better with repetition. I would like to think I'm getting better at this every time I'm on here, every day. I would like to think I'm getting better.
So I'm hoping too.
So
we all hope we can. Yeah.
But those are the limitations in life. It's not the stuff here that we're covering in this article. I mean, you can artificially create these barriers. You can try to shove those barriers onto someone else in a form of a guilt trip or whatever else. It doesn't serve anyone. No. It never has.
It never has. And the more barriers,
failure is you.
Sorry, say it again.
No,
Sorry.
You're right.
What?
Go ahead.
I said the only person that's responsible for your success or failure is you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And honestly,
personal
if you
responsibility
learn something from it, it's not a failure.
Yeah. Personal responsibility is the key in the United States, and it always has been. In fact, that's the very basis of liberty, kids. That's the very basis of freedom. Individual responsibility to create opportunities where sometimes there's none. If you see something and there's no job that exists for it, do it yourself, because you'll make the job. Yeah. You'll make the business. You'll make the product.
That's very much based on the post-Enlightenment libertarian society that Western civilization became, but that's been so much under attack. It's unreal now.
Yeah, because of the success of it, and that's the thing. I mean, they want to point to the failed circumstances of other governmental structures, and that leave the majority of its citizens in a state of perpetual want or need.
If you're not willing to do the 10,000 repetitions, then you're probably more likely to want to say, well, that guy's done it, but that's not fair. I'm going to hold him back.
Exactly.
I want to be promoted into a position of equivalency. Yeah.
Because if we were legitimately all about that, if these people were legitimately all about that, especially those of means, they would surrender all of their means to everyone else. Everything that you've worked for in your entire life.
Always what has bugged me the most about these motherfuckers is the fact that they're all like, you need to give up everything for the poor. And it's like, you start.
First.
Yeah, you first.
Okay, where are you at, leading by example? What have
a
you
millionaire
given?
telling you to donate $1 to save a kid? And I'm like, how many could you save?
Yeah. Well, you may remember that video that was made where they interviewed college students and said, would you be willing to give up some of your grades and your scores to those who are less good at you than that subject? Oh, I'm not doing that. Oh, no, I'm not doing that. Well, you're the one asking for everyone else to give things up. Yeah.
Right. So why would I use my tax money to pay off your college loan for your gender studies degree? I'm doing that. Anyway,
if you're a preach these things, lead by example.
Yeah. Well, we've traveled very far afield, and that's largely my fault. So if we would like to continue with this story, I've skipped past the religious lecturing.
Yes,
which again, if you agree with that sentiment, that's perfectly fine. But it's not pertinent to what we're covering.
No, and I was not going to read that out loud. I couldn't even stomach those words because that.
Yeah. Okay.
All are welcome at the breakfast table with our new Together with Pride cereal coming to shelves soon. Kellogg boasted on Instagram with cereal box featuring old favorite Snap, Crackle, and Pop in front and center, flanked by the brand's other characters, including an anthropomorphic frosted mini wheat holding a pride flag. Okay. For every box sold, Kellogg is donating $3 to GLAAD to support the LGBTQ plus community. Rainbow. Leave the boxes. Leave the boxes for cereals. You're too awesome to fit into a box. Kellogg's Instagram shares another post alongside their new LGBTQ cereal box. a lot of these would be okay slogans if they weren't trying to literally rape the LGBT image and what they actually are,
and indoctrinate.
Well, and here's the thing:
too, yes.
you're too awesome to fit in a box, and yet the pronoun thing is actually in a box on the cereal box, which I think is funny as hell. Yes. Sorry, it's just me that catches the irony of those things.
No, you're right, dude.
No.
You can't fit in a box. Check one. But the most disturbing feature of the box is the box top that has a special spot for children to add their own pronouns of choice.
Yeah,
now
and
your kids can write their pronouns on their cereal box. So fun.
With Kellogg's. So fun.
So fun.
Do you see where the box where you can put your pronouns on the box?
Yes.
It can't be defined by a box, but you can put your shit in a box. Fuck you.
You know, what happened to my word puzzles? Or hey, what are 10 things wrong with the picture? Or hey, I love my games like where actually it was being challenged, like where's Waldo equivalent. Now those were fun because then if I was having struggles trying to do it, I would just refill the bowl of cereal and then try to keep eating and look for the mystery on the box or look at the crossword puzzle. No, now we got. This isn't fun. This is boring and depressing bullshit.
Yeah, dude, the word searches were the best, right?
Oh, the best.
So much. That got me into text twist and stuff like that in the future.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that got you into doing word puzzles and math puzzles and stuff. And so you became more intellectual. Mm-hmm. Now you're becoming stupider because of your cereal box.
Come on. See? This is literal proof, textbook proof that cereal did get us motivated to be taught things or for us to teach ourselves things.
Well, it was one of the few times where the kids would sit down and concentrate on what was in front of them without you having to tell them to do so. My son still does this, and we all buy off-brand cereal and stuff, and he'll still do the crosswords and stuff on the back. And I'm like, this is great. This is fantastic because he's learning and he's not in front of a screen.
Well, those puzzles, again, I mean, think about it. You creatively, you're in a word search, right, where you're trying to circle things. Your brain now is working on recognizing patterns. So you're going to start seeing all that stuff faster. And you're just constantly training your brain to recognize patterns faster and faster with those kind of puzzles. And we need that. We need people to do that. We need people to think critically, recognize patterns. Those are the people that go on to become, stock moguls and stuff like that, because they can see, okay, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. These industries are related. This is going to be the natural offshoot. So I need to go here.
Well, they want to cut down on mental flexibility so much that they only set it into their rigid frame. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I mean, this kind of shit's just going to get more common. We saw it with Skittles when they did their Gray Pride Skittles thing.
What? Skittles did that too?
There's only one rainbow that matters.
I'm so glad I stuck with Starburst. I'm so glad.
Tell that running back from Seattle, right? Anyway, because he may decide not to taste the rainbow anymore after a touchdown. Rob Altus said, "Remember when Bruce Jenner was on the box of Cheerios?
Motivation." Yeah, I remember that. Actually,
there is no Bruce Jenner.
Yes, there was this amazing decathlete when I was young. His name was Bruce Jenner.
I'm old enough to remember that live.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And I mean, that fellow was amazing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, even now, as Caitlyn Jenner, this individual has more of a standing to be an actual role model for transgender individuals.
I've gone through with it. Yeah,
anyone they're using right now, especially just pushing it through cereal boxes. And the only reason they don't want to use Caitlyn Jenner as a role model for transgenders is because she does not share all of the same views as the standard leftist, as they call it.
Because she's an individual who thinks for herself.
Yes. Yeah. That's a problem for anyone. Critical thinking, independent thinking, that's not okay.
Yeah. To go with that surgery, that actually is a brave thing to do, because I could not. I'd be too.
If you take
the risk,
it's not good.
Me. That is terrifying.
Yeah, if you've ever seen that, it is you are going through an awful lot. We have somebody that we hang out with a lot, or at least I've hung out with on multiple occasions in our community, Kiri Howard, who has gone through that because legitimately they were living their life in the wrong way. And I have been so very proud of her to have undergone everything that it takes to get there. And that is a hard road. It's a hard road. And for the better part of a year, it took her to get where she wanted to be.
It's a quite horrifying set of procedures. Yeah. I mean, it's not an easy choice to make.
Yeah. And it's not just the physical side of it either. I mean, there is so many mental and emotional processes that go on through that, not just because of hormone replacements or anything like that, but because you're actually attempting to achieve an identity that you felt for longer than you can even realize. And once you're achieving that, you have to then, a lot of transgenders post operation have to go through additional coping therapies so that they can actually, now deal with the changes to their bodies that they are now seeing instead of just feeling like internally. And this is a huge portion of it as well. And I feel like this is kind of making a lot of that, like even just what Kellogg is doing here is undercutting the seriousness of being transgender.
Yeah, they're trivializing what a very small minority of people truly want to do and have to do, trivializing it and making it the choice of the day. Today I can be this, tomorrow I can be that. Totally trivializes the experience of Culture's friend and others in that position. Absolutely.
Very notable comment here. If you cut off your gas yourself and create an unnatural cavity inside your body held open by mesh wire so you won't heal by the...
That's enough about you then, Nick. That's enough about you, Nick.
I was going to say, finish this up because we're getting near to the end of this article here. It looks like.
Yeah, I don't think there's much left. I mean, we can talk about it. There's a lot of messaging I don't agree with in the story at this point, and we've already covered the subject pretty extensively.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. And I think the similarities for me between this and the last article are they're taking a very small slice of people and making them overrule women's rights and the rights and lifestyles of gay people. And you could see it that way. You could look at it that way. Like, you've got to conform to these people, even though they're very much the smaller group.
They're trivializing the individual experience.
Yes.
And because everybody experiences life differently. Again, you are responsible for you at every point in your life. And if you don't believe that, walk in and try to take the bar. Walk in tomorrow, try to take the bar without being prepared. Unless you've studied for the bar, unless you've studied for, an anatomy exam, right? You can't just walk in, you can't just roll in and do that. You have to take personal responsibility to learn everything you can about that, whether it's through an educational process or similar, structured learning. You have to be prepared for those moments in life. And so that is a personal responsibility. School, and that's one of the things you're being taught as a child, hopefully by your parents, is that school is your responsibility because in this life you are responsible for you, and everything that you learn, everything that you take away is going to affect the rest of your life. It's going to, and as crappy as school can be sometimes. But right now, schools aren't treated that way. They're treated as a way to pass along bologna sausage information to kids that they don't need. Math is not racist. We need math.
We need it. We need to know how to count.
Yeah, you can't land something on Mars without math. 2 + 2 does not equal dump truck is not going to get that done. And you needed math to get an iPhone together. You needed, there's a lot of stuff in this world that's important. Language is important. Being able to communicate with your fellow human being without trying to navigate a word salad that is essentially meaningless based on previous word definitions. right? So yeah, this is where we're at. So
the math thing is particularly worrying. You can't, as you say, you can't land a spaceship on Mars without math. You can't build a bridge without math. You can't run a power station and build and run a power station.
Everything takes math to do.
And to say that it's not important and we can find different answers and they're equally valid.
Yeah.
Not when you're building a bridge.
Right now, and the Islington girl says accounting is super important. It absolutely is, which is why we definitely need to look into the Disney company right now. And a few of these other entities who have been misreporting revenue. And you have these things, guys, and we are fighting against this, and we need to start fighting harder. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right.
One full generation at least has gone and fallen into this stuff, and we have to work very hard with them to show them they're wrong and fix it. And every other generation needs to make them realize just how wrong they are. We came so far in such a short period of time, or I should say we've come so far in such a short period of time, and now they're trying to reset all of that. That's the whole point of resetting at every level, is to try to go back to, teaching everybody this ideology, which has never been successful. And it's in any iteration it's ever had. The only thing that has been successful is the freedom of the human spirit. And it's
culture. We'll get it right next time. We just haven't done it right.
It just wasn't done right.
It just wasn't done right.
Even the grandmasters of these so-called, thought process behind these IS eventually come to the realization that it'll never work because of human desire, because of human achievement. Because you can't bridle what happens in our minds. The creativity, they can't bridle. They can't hold back compassion. They can't hold back these things. You can't do it. You can try. I mean, look at the obstacles that China faces consistently. And they're already in a position of negative population growth, which they weren't supposed to be for another 10 years. And that's weird. Think about that. For a country with 1.4 billion, you have countries that the only reason that they're sustained is because of technological development, right? And that is 100% because of the freedom of humanity and its natural state. And that you can't fight it. I mean, you can try, you can create these systems. It fights against it at every step, and as much as I think, and I will say it out loud, that I think taxation is theft, I will say that sometimes taxes are the burden that you take, or that you undertake in order to enjoy the freedom of your society. Well, in this country at this point, that yoke is going to become far too heavy, with under a burden of a currency that's being continually devalued by those that are in charge. And but anyway, I got on my horse 3 times tonight. You guys need to stop.
We're not gonna stop you ever. Are you kidding me, dude? But I want to dress up this comment before we go on to something outrageous. So the Islington girl here, I don't enjoy hanging in mat space, but I recognize its importance. Yes, I'm just slow not where to there, and that's fine. Not a lot of us are not going to be wired that way, to think that way. Yes, math is not the easiest thing to do with, especially when it gets complex. But at least having a fine understanding of the basics is essential to life and helping us get by from every little aspect of life, from affording things to getting by and how you get by, whether it's via transportation or anything. We need it in our life to add the basics of it. Spending, transportation, you name it. There's numbers involved in all of it. So
you want to know how to confuse a young person? Ask them to make change.
Oh yeah. I watched a kid at the gas station the other day try to figure stuff out, and he needed to count me back 20 cents. And I said, dude, keep it. It's easier for me because you're killing me.
We've not got 15 minutes. Just keep it.
You're killing me.
I need 22 cents back. That's all I needed. And I was like, dude, it's fine. Gonna go.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
The bee. I love the bee.
Oh, yeah.
This fits with what we're talking about, so I thought we should do this.
Oh, yeah, all right. Let's just go all the way with it.
This is the future of engineering right here. Even I wouldn't be able to get these to fit together.
All right. Lego unveils new genderless bricks with no male-female connectors. Introducing genderless.
I love this.
This actually sounds like this is real. Billund, Denmark, as part of its new push toward inclusion and diversity, Lego has unveiled a new set of genderless bricks without male or female connectors. The entirely smooth bricks have no suggestive male nubs or female receptors, and instead of entirely smooth androgynous side. This represents a new era in inclusive building bricks, said Lego spokesperson Bjorn Erkostom Vodka.
The name.
I know, right?
How dare you?
Finally, anyone can play with our Legos without being triggered by those horrid male and female parts that imply they're only supposed to fit in one direction. Fit it. Every brick can stack on any other brick without anyone misgendering anything or making a brick feel bad because it only fits in one way. That's what she said.
That's not what she said.
Bear with me. Okay. I mean, I guess they are pretty much just blocks now, he admitted. But they're inclusive blocks.
I like the last sentence. You got to read the last sentence.
The bricks will still, of course, instantly kill you if you step on that.
That has to be perfection, that article. Yeah.
Oh,
dude, between those Lincoln Logs and Tinker Toys, you could seriously injure yourself in the middle of the night. You could be some real problems. You could be in trouble.
Anyone that's had children and got them Lego will know that only too well. And one sitting at the top of the stairs is enough to trip over and go down.
Yeah, you will definitely be dead. Yeah.
I've had many nights, especially being a dad. I would know I've had many nights where I get up during the middle of the night, like because I want to maybe get a glass of water or just have the munchies, and like I go take those steps on my way from my bed to the kitchen, and I've stepped on a Lego. I'm like, oh fuck, it was a male Lego.
It's a male Lego.
It's a male Lego, yeah. And then I come back
but if you think about it, Legos were always binary because they were male on one side and female on the other, mostly. So they were the ultimate gender non-binary toy.
Yeah,
so they already had it right.
They always were inclusive.
I like
colorful
my
Legos.
toys dangerous. So, I mean, back in the day.
No, I was going to say you actually have smooth roof pieces, right? So they were only female on one side; they were smooth on the other. So it's like the Ken doll treatment on the one side.
That's right. But we liked our toys dangerous back in the day. We had lead in them. They were sharp edges. They used to have things spring out of them and shoot your eye out. You know? I mean,
dude, the sharp edges on the Legos.
Yeah, our toys are dangerous back in the day. We had none of this safe stuff that they got now.
Oh man. Mark Vulcan just tipped me some sweet money, and he tipped $1. So
money.
Lego just made micro Jenga. Yeah, you could say they did. No, thank you for your excellent $1. Vulcan.
What do you do for money, honey?
So here's one of the things. When I go to the beach, right, I like to build sand castles. So now. Is that a problem for somebody? Is there a way I can cancel?
It depends whether you're wearing a Speedo or not at the time. That might be a problem.
I'm not wearing a Speedo.
You're not wearing anything then, is what you're saying.
No. I wear boarding trunks, which I also wear when I scuba dive. Unless I'm going into water that's like 50. Nah, unless I'm going into water that's like less than 50 degrees Fahrenheit. I usually wear like board shorts and like a very thin like dive shirt I very rarely get into a wetsuit. And but on the beach I'm wearing trunks and usually a swim skin because I don't want to get sunburned. But I'll sit on the beach for hours and build sandcastles. I mean, like this, I did like a whole I did like a whole what the fuck?
No, shower cap wears him.
Yeah, dude, I come out of the water at the beach looking like Jason Momoa throwing my hair up.
There's no shower cap could contain that magnificence.
I can't do it. Yeah.
So are you trying to say, Culture, that sandcastles, the phallic shape of them is something?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if I can get canceled because the last time I did it on the beach, I built I built a Star Wars city, right, with the round domes and all of that. And those could be considered phalluses, I guess, if you fit under the right circumstances. Naboo had a lot of.
Did you build a Death Star? Could you build a Death Star?
Dude, do you know how hard you'd have to pack the sand to make that happen?
Yeah, but you'd have to leave a little flaw inside it in the middle.
You would need some big and hard sand to be able to pull off, not to get all sexualized with the sand, but it would need to be really hard to be able, because it's got to hold up, it's got to stick, you got to make sure it holds together.
You got to have proper support.
You have to compress it, and you still end up with the base touching the ground. But here's the thing: the best part of all of that is when you finish, and all the kids that have gathered around when you're done, you tell them to go ahead and destroy it. That's the best part. You should film it every time you do something like that. Take your picture, take your thing, and then tell the kids to kill it if they want to. Say, you know what? If you guys want to.
Kill it.
We used to like to build them with channels coming from the sea so you could get water up to them.
Water into it?
Yeah, they're the best.
Yeah. Okay, the problem is you have to build so close to the you have to build so close to the tide line there. That it doesn't last as long. But I'll haul buckets of water up. The boss has watched me do it. I haul buckets of water up, compact the sand, get it all right. And I'm insane.
It's a cool thing to do, and stuff like that. I don't know. I see kids down at the beach still doing that, so it's still happening. Yeah.
Is the castles are a throwback to an era of white male domination and oppression?
Beaches are white supremacy, yeah.
And
aren't we headed back that way? Aren't we going to have a plebeian society, Sir Toxalot?
Probably. More than
that's what I thought.
What we used to like to do when I was a lad was we'd go up camping in the hills and we'd find a stream and we'd dam it up and build a big pool.
Absolutely.
That was the best. Oh, that was great. The sheep got a bit pissed off downstream because there was no water for them. But that was fun.
Stephen, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Sandy Crotch sounds like the name of a 60s singer,
Well, or that girl at the strip club that, always leave you itching.
Well, Stephen knows about hardwood.
So you've met her too?
No.
She wasn't itching until you met her.
Oh man. Well, I guess
Stephen knows about hardwood.
Took a bit of a wang turn there. Yes.
Stephen knows.
Apparently, he knows about hard. Yeah, he
Stephen knows a lot about hardwood. Our friend, the dendrophiliac, does know a lot. If you yes, he does. Like a mighty oak, absolutely. In fact, he likes mighty oaks.
All right.
He works the wood.
Is it appropriate to ask?
He's a woodworker.
John Malkovich, he works the wood.
What is the urban legend behind Walton and his trees? I hear you guys talk about a joke for. I don't know the true Hollywood story, so tell us a VH1 behind the music special right now on Walton and his trees. I don't
know. I was barely there. Other people were talking. He decided to talk about the fact that the fascination with trees was called dendrophilia. And he went on to describe what it was, and from that point forward, we understood because he has an affinity for trees. He likes the great outdoors more than I do. I like going outside and enjoying the forest. He enjoys the forest. I don't. I don't. He does. That's his thing. Yeah, he will fight a bear for a tree. That's what I'm trying to say right now. He will tell a bear, "This one's mine."
He will fight a bear tree.
He will. He doesn't care, dude. Pine, gnarled walnuts. Gnarled walnut might be his favorite. Yeah, it is what it is.
Gnarled walnuts. That's a whole different topic.
Oh man. Oh.
In fact, he got really excited because he found out one of the trees was really popular. So he thought he would get popular for nailing the tree. I'm just saying.
Oh shit! Well, yeah. we're gonna keep this show on the road.
The only beach that Steven knows about is also a beach tree. Yeah, he knows it really well. He knows a lot about beach. Yeah.
Okay.
He actually he's been referred to as a son of a beach.
Oh my god!
He's got really large chestnuts.
He came in here. He knew what he was doing, and so
his chestnuts are pretty impressive.
Oh man, yeah. You know what? He was thinking about Rosie Palm and went looking for one.
I'm desperately trying to think of a maple syrup pun, but I can't think of one. So.
I think you just said the joke right there. Syrup and the maple. Now we know his favorite syrup is.
He rubs the syrup on. He rubs the maple syrup on. It rubs the maple syrup on.
Oh God. Anyways, we're gonna share one last article, and
he has got sweaty palms. I've heard.
Hey, you know what? When you work your tool like that, when you're gently, when you're taking care of your wood,
he's on a different plane when it comes to working.
It is, yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, he knows all about planing. He does.
I love puns. This is great.
All right. So, anyways, I tried to find a better point of view about this situation, but it seems like I was not doing the best job finding it. So we're gonna read it, and I'm sure we'll be able to call out the BS in it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I have a point of view. I have a point of view in this.
When it starts out with culture saying "fuck," it's going to be great.
That's right. How about
it? All right. Biden wants to make moving to the U.S. from abroad easier and cheaper by revamping the immigration system, according to a new report. Oh, God.
He's also going to make it easier to get pilot's license.
All right. President Joe Biden wants to make moving to the U.S. easier and cheaper, the New York Times reported on Monday. The Biden administration plans to rebuild and expand the U.S.'s legal immigration system, according to a 46-page government document seen by the Times titled DHS Plan to Restore Trust in Our Legal Immigration System. The draft document outlined plans to undo President Donald Trump's efforts to make immigration more difficult, expensive, and slower, the Times reported. Anyone want to call BS on that one? Or shall I keep going?
No, I'll call BS on that straight away.
All right. Have at it.
So one of the things, regardless of people's opinions of Donald Trump, one of the things he said early on in his presidency was we want to stem the tide of illegal immigration, but we want to make the legal immigration system into the U.S. better, reform it, to make it more skilled, merit-based, and a system equivalent to Canada, where you have a number of questions you answer, and if you fit the bill on some of these, you reach a threshold in which you can be considered to move there. So it may be around education or around other things, but that was very much one of his intentions, because it's true, the American legal, and I should know because I've tried, the American legal immigration system is terrible. It is a nightmare, expensive, lengthy, not at all merit or skill based, and is just really a gimme to pressure groups or groups from certain countries or whatever. So yes, the bullshit is that Trump actually proposed doing that, but the pushback was so great on these attempts to stop illegal immigration. Again, they derailed the whole conversation at that time. So I will.
No,
Stop
I
now.
just from what I know the process, I know one guy who came to this country from Jamaica, and I think it took him 5 years before he became an official citizen. And I talked to the guy. I'm like, hey, was absolutely worth it? And he said, yeah, absolutely was worth it. He said, obviously, it's a hellish process, but he said he would do it all over again if he had to. So I'm like, okay, well, that tells me everything I need to know about it. He's come from Jamaica, so cool. Anyways, we'll carry on. Policies described in the document would help more people move to the U.S., including refugees, asylum seekers, trafficking victims, skilled workers, families of Americans living abroad, and Native Americans born in Canada. The Times report. Something about that I just do not believe at all.
So there he said will help more people move, but then they narrow it down to specific groups. So it doesn't really, it helps more people in specific groups move, but it doesn't help more people move. Again, they're focusing on certain groups.
Yeah, I see. I see what they're trying to word it here. No, good catch. All right. The Biden administration plans to revamp various programs in the immigration system, including the H-1B visa program for highly skilled workers and the U visa program, which offers citizenship to immigrants if they cooperate with law enforcement, the document said, according to The Times. The document proposed simpler immigration forms that could be filed online, The Times reported. People will go through fewer security checks. Bullshit. And the U.S. would limit requests for evidence from foreigners under the proposal, The Times report. You know what? Actually, now I think about it, maybe that part wouldn't be bullshit because it seems like they're trying to destroy everything as much as possible. So maybe I actually see them lessening security. Go ahead. Seems like you got something you want to say.
Looking at this from a security perspective, this is a nightmare. Okay, there's no security from what I've heard them talk about so far because they're making it easier for people to get in with less documentation regarding who they are and regarding what they've done in their past countries. They cooperate with law enforcement. They're considered for, okay, so I know a lot of cartel members that might love that.
Oh, the cartel will love this.
Psychopaths, but, they cooperated. So here's your green card, right? I mean, we need to have checks and balances to ensure that as much as this is going to make me sound like an ist or a phobe or whatever, that the right people are coming into the country so that we get stronger as a country. We don't want the people that are going to increase our crime rate because we're less punitive towards them for their immigration status.
Have you ever seen Talks on Razor Fist's video on why we need the wall? If you haven't, I would highly recommend watching because he lives in Arizona, which is right a perfect state that shows you someone who has to actually deal with the whole border situation. He talks about how cartels thrive in Arizona for coming from that state where that border is. I'm like, that is a literal national security issue with the cartels alone. I'm like, if you haven't, I'll send you on Discord. But it definitely, like, I didn't know better at the time, but when I saw that, it had me think about, like, this isn't just like an immigration issue. This is a security issue. This is a big time security issue. That's what I learned.
Everything in this bill, from what I've seen so far, is screaming that they are undercutting national security to the nth degree, and we will have some bad fallout. I don't want to say any buzzwords or anything that'll get us pulled by the grand tube, but I feel like we might have another 9-11 situation, you know what I mean? It'll be easier, and it'll come in different ways too. I guarantee you. There won't be planes next time.
There's so many different ways that these things could happen. That mass killings could happen, which is frightening. Yeah, so many different ways. It won't be planes, no, that's for sure. Yeah.
Nope.
Well, even an EMP. I mean, only possibly a big EMP or things like that. And these could, this is the way it's going to go. But the security is the last consideration of this particular group of people that are in charge. Right? Security is not their priority. So, in fact, it's counterproductive to have security because if you want to destroy a country and its culture, then why would you have security for people coming in? So.
Yeah, no, you're right, dude. Anyways, The proposals would aim to give people a better chance of securing work visas or joining families who live in the U.S., the Times reported. People could also pay less or get waivers in order to lower barriers to immigration, the report said. More security checks for immigrants under the Trump administration and travel restrictions during the pandemic. Whoop, hold up. What happened here? Bear with me here. You scroll down, Culture. There you go. Thank you. During the pandemic have meant fewer foreigners coming into the U.S. As a result, U.S. citizenship and immigration services financed by immigrants' fees has received less money, the Times said. The document said that restoring the agency would be central to Biden's efforts. According to the Times, there are significant changes that need to be made to really open up all avenues of legal immigration. Felicia Escobar Carrillo, the chief of staff at Citizenship and Immigration Services, told the Times. She added that in the same way the Trump administration took a broad stroke approach to closing off avenues, I think we want to take a broad approach toward opening up the legal avenues that have always been available, but that they try to put roadblocks up on. What? Roadblocks up on? Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know how I can tell this person is lying?
Yeah.
Because their lips were moving when they said all this. Their lips were moving when they said it. That's how I can tell they were lying. But, yeah. There is so much scope for reforming the U.S. legal immigration system, but this will not be it. This will be something else entirely.
You're not wrong, that 70s rock fan. There are a lot of better ways to go about this. So
much better, but this won't be it. No.
It's disgusting. It's frustrating. It's angering. I have more adjectives, but you guys probably want to talk, so I'm gonna be quiet.
Well, Soul Assassin here, yeah, this is pretty much all it is. I mean, it started with bringing the immigrants, then it's going to become going to under 18. Soon it's going to be anyone and everyone. So it's just like, I've literally said to people before, so I'm like, so should I just go to the Czech Republic then and vote there? And then they're like, well, no. I'm like, well, you want anyone to vote anywhere. I'm like, you're not thinking about this large picture. You're only thinking about this and how it benefits your political ideology. They're doing this just to think about how it serves them. They don't think about how it could backfire someone else. They never think about the ramifications. They never think about that because these things can benefit them, obviously, but they don't think about the potential of when it could possibly backfire at them. And the history, I'm sure, has played out a few times in some instances where that happens. And then, of course, they'll change and revert the rules again. So,
at some point in the past, and it's possibly, well, certainly since 9/11 things changed, but at some point in the past, a political decision was taken in the US to restrict legal immigration from the first world.
Yeah.
And concentrate on the third world. And allow almost unlimited, turn a blind eye to unlimited legal immigration, but also to make only the avenues were closed down to those in the first world that are very wealthy or well connected, or happen to be extremely highly qualified, or those in the third world that, hey, just come on in. So that was a political decision to try and change the mix of in America, which fine, that was a political decision, but as a result, it means that many, many people in first world countries find it extremely difficult to work in the US and move to the US.
Yeah,
it's extremely difficult to get a green card. A company has to sponsor you, let's say, if you're a Canadian, and that costs a lot of money for that company.
Yes, it
does. Now, there was a time long ago where that wasn't the case, 40, 50, 60 years ago. A lot of cross-border stuff, but not now.
We had a pretty liberal policy. The Ellis Island thing was legit. I mean, but you did have to identify, and you had to be committed to becoming a citizen in the United States when you came here, which meant
was following the rules.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You were putting yourself into the melting pot, following the rules, and you know what? The melting pot worked really well. We did really good. And unfortunately.
Oh my God!
Say again.
I said we got so much great stuff out of the melting pot method.
Absolutely. I mean, we got Nicola.
We would never have gotten the Conan comic books if it weren't for Like,
well, I was going to say Nikola Tesla, but okay,
well, too, but I mean, come on.
And what they did, though,
Puerto Rico, in my opinion.
What they did was they didn't open up the melting pot from first world European countries to other more third world countries. What they took away the first world part of it.
Good night to our leader of the Dix Division. Good night, Comix. Rest well till we do this again.
Yep.
Anyways, carry on.
Yeah, they took away the first world component of it and made it a purely more of a third world focused thing. So I had a discussion on Foulball with you might have been there, Nick. I can't remember if you were still on the thread. Yeah, with Matt, and it was on the cocktail lounge on Friday. And
the MF, baby. Yeah,
the MF.
Yeah.
So you and Nick might have been still on the stream then, but one of the fellow panelists was arguing that there should be unlimited third world immigration, particularly from Latin America. You know, we should be building cities and letting these people come in. I said, well, that's all very well, but what are you doing to those countries that those people are coming from? You're absolutely stripping them of their citizens.
Yeah.
You're stripping Guatemala or Nicaragua or you name it. You're stripping them of their future and their potential as a country. By saying, hey, just look them up here.
What if they're in need of a revolution? What if they're in need of a revolution? You can't have them have a revolution if they go somewhere else. Then that country just dies off and goes the way of the cowboy movies. Like, then you can't have a revolution. You really can't.
Yeah, no, it's and that's probably the best point I think I've heard of the whole night. Thank you for that 70s rock fan. Is you are stripping away
broken clock, I'm right twice a day.
No, you're right. Quite often. But it's you are stealing their future. You're stealing the people who could make innovative decisions where they are. You're stealing the people that could. Well, I mean, Nick wants to overthrow every government, but you're missing. You're missing out on what those people can offer the country that they're in. There are opportunities wherever you are in the world. They're limited, of course, depending upon where you are in the world, but there are always opportunities to better yourself and your situation. The thing. Most people don't realize generational wealth comes from generations of planning. You have to commit to that, and a certain amount of wealth is required to get to a certain level of economic success. So I always suggest to people that you plan like you will never have a dollar in your pocket, but everybody that succeeds you will have thousands of dollars in theirs. And that's the wisest type of financial planning you can do, because it's going to leave generations beyond you in a far better condition to improve themselves and everybody else around them. See, that's the other problem with the misunderstanding of wealth. Wealth can be two things. Wealth can be an accumulation that you don't do anything with, or it can be an opportunity to utilize it as a tool to do a great many things with. And that comes from upbringing. It comes from education. And I'm not talking about college is great and all. There's a couple colleges that are great, but there used to be a lot of colleges that were great, but if they have a gender studies program, they're no longer great. Just if there's a gender studies major, you probably want to not write them.
If the focus is on social sciences, then you've got to be suspect there.
Yeah, it's not your school. But beyond that, those are the requirements for creating a great citizen, somebody who's going to do great things and raise great children. And here's the other problem with generational wealth. The three generation story is absolutely true, unless you were taught all the fundamentals that go along with being a good person, because that gets lost along the way. You abdicate the responsibility of being a parent, and so you end up in a situation where you're rich because your family was rich, but then you get to Paris Hilton. So you know what I mean? You're going to have somebody who's going to take that wealth and squander it, and by the generation 4, the money's gone. So everything that you took to build is nothing without continuing on it within the lineage, which is a real shame because it's happening in various ways. And I'm not going to talk just strictly about money. Look at the Tolkien estate, right? When Christopher passed away, you now have those kids. They handed it over to a cultural Marxist like Bezos, and now you're going to get intersectional Lord of the Rings.
Cultural IP is doomed. Yeah, they've destroyed it.
Yeah. So it's the same thing. I mean, greatness has to be preserved. You can't sacrifice it. I mean, Ronald Reagan was right, and we get right back into Memorial Day and the quote that I read at the beginning of the 6 Minute Daily. Freedom can be lost in a generation.
Well, we're seeing that now.
Yeah, we're seeing the proof of that.
I'm one of the last. Well, not last. I'm one of the generations that grew up with World War II veterans around me. Mm-hmm. My father, my uncles, my father-in-law, and so I had direct contact with those guys. They taught me a lot and told me a lot about the world and what they did to preserve the freedom we have today. And that's in my lifetime. I'm seeing that being dissipated and squandered. That's one lifetime.
You're not wrong. And so, guys, with that being said, and I'm going to try to wrap up for all of us, and we can head off into the sunset. Yep. Thank you all for being here. We had just an extraordinary time. This has been an important day, hopefully for all of us here in the United States, hopefully for those of you around the world, because the United States contributed to a lot of the preservation of freedom, and we did it just like you did in other parts of the world with blood and the sacrifice of our ancestors. So thank you, and thanks to all of them, and thank you for being here. Nick, go for it, brother. Wrap it up.
All right. Well, Culture, I'm going to let you. I'll actually, we'll start off with our guest here. That 70s rock fan. Thank you for joining us. It was absolutely freaking awesome to have you on, and you are a very contributable guest. So you helped, as unsurprisingly, you helped carry the ship along with our other wonderful co-hosts on here. So we're going to highlight you, sir. Plug in, man. Talk about yourself to the wonderful chat.
Well, thank you for having me. Thanks for hosting, Nick, and thanks to Culture and Sir Talks a lot. It's been fantastic. Really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me as a guest. Obviously, I'm a committed member of the Dix Division, so I will always be here in one way or another. I do have a little channel, so if you do get the chance to pop in, that 70s rock fan, I do science fiction and music stuff, and it takes me a little while to make new videos because editing is painstaking, but there will be more coming soon. And you can also catch me every Friday night on Fall Ball Productions, MFR, Cocktail Lounge, and we have a great laugh on that. It's good fun. And yes, again, salute to all those who gave their lives in the ultimate sacrifice to keep us free. My thanks to them.
All right. Thank you, sir. And of course, the man of many voices. Some may know him as Frank Lee, but to me, he will always be Sir Talks a Lot.
Hello. So yeah, I just started Frank Lee's independent channel. So make sure you head on to YouTube and search Frank Lee Odd Adventures. Also on Odyssey. I've uploaded all of the previous Frank Lees there, and all of the future ones will solely be on Frank Lee Odd Adventures. That being said, still learning Blender, so won't have any animations out anytime soon. But I'm looking forward to just mastering that. It's gonna be so good.
Oh,
but
dude,
anyway,
I can't wait.
You're such a masturbator.
I try. But yeah, thanks for having me on. I will be regular here again. So
yes, and of course,
dude, good. You know that Walton's coffee will help with that.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that. I was thinking about checking that out.
Get those walnuts.
And
now the master debater himself.
And then the one man, of course, who has been an absolute ginormous help from the thumbnails to, the maximizing of the panels Culture. I literally, thanks to you, was able to make this an even better panel. So Culture, Plug away. Everyone should be sub to you. If they aren't, then they're wrong.
I anticipate and I see everybody here, all those that showed up. Thank you for being here. Guys, we wouldn't be here without you. I have to say that I consider it an awesome responsibility that Comix handed over these shows to us to run until he was ready to come back and do them himself on his channel. And I can't wait for that to be back on his shoulders, believe it or not. I'm sure that Nick feels the same way, and everybody has done it, from Vigilante Williamson to Drew the Supreme Heretic. Hopefully you're subscribed to everybody here, even Laudinus Ravenwood or whatever he's calling himself now. Low dose, the low dose. I call him low dose. You can too, so it works. But thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it. Yeah, of course, you can find me on my channel, but you can find me here in other places as well, because I'm only here to entertain and have a good time with everybody that's out there. So thanks for being here. Guys, we have to thank the people who are no longer with us that serve to make sure that we all live the way that we do now. And we have to honor them by trying to preserve the way of life that they fought and died for. And beyond all of that, everyone, I hope you have a great night. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Culture. All right, folks. Well, I have done my best. Hopefully it was acceptable at the least. Hopefully acceptable. I can't say it was. I'm not Comix Division, but I'm damn sure trying to be hopefully somewhere as cool as he is in Culture Casino. But thank you all for accepting me and coming in here and hanging out with us anyways for an alternative, and to the chat, and for all of you giving me the tip of your tips, and of course to our guests, that's Sonny's Rock Fan, and to the excellent co-host or Talks a Lot in Culture Casino. This has been awesome, and I mean, like all the other guys have said, happy Memorial Day. Remember, do not forget. Please, this is just the end of this. Should be great for replay value. Remember those who have fallen. All right, I'm not good at the sappy stuff, but you know what to do, guys. Remember always, and to you all, have a magical evening. We'll all wave to you. Goodbye. Bye.